So is this anti-conversion bill in Karnataka anti-constitutional? That's the big question. Is it being used to target the minority Christian community in particular? What Karnataka thinks today will India think tomorrow. Joining us now is Reverend Peter Machado, Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Bangalore, Mohandas Pai, Chairman Areen Capital, Colin Gonsalves, Supreme Court Senior Advocate, and Captain Ganesh Karnik, Chief Spokesperson, BJP Karnataka. I spoke earlier to Reverend Machado and I asked him, what is his reaction to the recent attacks that have taken place on Christians and churches in Karnataka, the attempt to tear down a religious book, all of this coming at a time when the Karnataka Assembly is meeting, likely to pass an anti-conversion bill. Do you feel Reverend Machado targeted in any manner?
I would say yes, because last 2 months there have been 7 incidents of such attacks and violence against Christians. And the latest were the last 2 days, as you have recalled it now, that in a place called Kolar, there was burning of the Bible books, and in Belgaum there was an attack of the priest, and all on these, as the Chief Minister was announcing that he is very keen on bringing out the bill, and that Christians should not get scared of this bill. It's very sarcastic on his part to say that the attacks are taking on, and he goes, instead of saying that the attacks should not take place or give it an order to the officials to say that please take care, he says as good as a consequence of this that he is going to bring another bill which will create more havoc and sadness to all of us.
But Reverend Machado, the Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai is saying that that the bill is intended to prevent conversion by force, fraud or inducement. They are only dealing with what he says are those elements, and therefore he defends the bill. He says all these fears are unwarranted.
I don't think that he should say it in that way, because the Constitution itself has got provisions to propagate a religion and even to change the religion. And if there are fraud, what we call the force, or even some sort of allurements, there are enough provisions in the law, in the police code. As far as I know, there are about 11 sections under which he can take cognizance of these faults of ours and surely try to take action.
You know, let's come to you, Captain Karnik. You heard Reverend Machado saying that the Chief Minister should be saying that I will protect churches, I will ensure that the Catholic community is protected at all times. Instead, the government of Karnataka and the Belgavi police seem to be telling Christians, don't go to your church halls, don't go to your prayer halls till this bill is passed. I mean, you should be defending people, innocent citizens who want to practice their faith. The Constitution is very clear. You have the freedom to practice your religion.
Mr. Rajdeep, good evening to you and good evening to all my co-panelists. I don't know why you are saying that in Belgavi, the police are telling people not to go to church. You are taking it to the other extreme. See, the Constitution provides under Article 25, the right to profess, propagate and practice. I have my faith, I am practicing it. There are ways and means which you have been explaining that my rightful practice is being disturbed. So there have been laws to prevent under Article 295A and 298 under Indian Penal Code. So there are articles. It is further to strengthen.
No, why do you need to strengthen it? Why do you need? Sorry to intervene, Captain Karnik. You are right. There is already provisions under the Penal Code. Why do you need to strengthen those?
If you don't allow me to complete my sentence, how can I answer your question?
Go ahead.
Midway you're interfering. This is not the right way of debating. See, we have these articles under IPC, but they don't have the teeth. This has been happening. He says my sentiments are hurt. Mr. Machado was mentioning that his sentiments are hurt. As a majority community, even my sentiments are hurt. You go to tandas, you go to SC/ST colonies, you lure them, you convert them, and then they get into problems. A fortnight ago, 4 people committed suicide in Bagalkot. So this has hurt the sentiments of the majority people. Yes, you have the right to profess, you have the right to propagate, but I have the right to practice. You are coming in way of my practice.
Sir.
You are spreading canards about our religion, our faith. So let us make it more.
Sir, sir, you didn't like me. You didn't, sir. You didn't. Sir, you didn't like me interrupting. I will ask you one. Sir, I will ask you one more time. The existing penal code has enough provisions. Why do you need a specific anti-conversion bill at the moment? This at a time when the Chief Minister said he's going to do a survey of churches. He wants a survey of prayer halls. Is this what really? You seem to be creating an imaginary enemy. There is no evidence. There is no evidence that the Christian population in Karnataka has risen in the last 10 years. There is no evidence of that. So what is it? Why are you creating this imaginary bogey?
Do we have a data where people are being converted, their names are not being changed, but they are enjoying the benefits of SC/ST communities? Do we have a process of registering their willingness to change the faith? We don't have that. We want to bring in all these. Let the person who wants to get converted, let him apply. Then let there be some kind of an investigation. And when there is no other allurement or incentive or coercion, then district administration can possibly allow that person to get converted.
Let me take what you're saying to Colin Gonsalves, because what is Colin Gonsalves, the distinction the Karnataka government claims it is making is where they find that a conversion has been done through allurements which are or by misrepresentation or by fraud. That's when they choose to intervene. This law, they claim, is intended to strengthen existing penal code provisions.
Look at it. Look at how the law works. First is, even after the right to privacy judgment, where getting married is my private life, the law will require you to take permission to get married if the person is from another religious community. Now, where do they get that from? Why do I need permission to marry? Suppose I'm a Christian, I want to marry, let's say, some other community. Why should I need to take permission? Second, why should I need to give notice that I'm going to get married to a person from another community? So what legal or constitutional justification is there for the state to interfere with what is extremely private? It's my own business. The answer I will give you to that question is that the state, as a communal entity, the moment you give notice that I'm going to get married, let's say a Hindu gives notice I'm getting married to a Muslim girl or a Muslim man, all these antisocial elements will gather together on seeing that notice, come to the house, beat the man, beat the woman, attack them in their house and burn their furniture down. The intention is to use force and violence against anyone exercising their democratic right to get married to any person of their choice, irrespective of religion. That is the intent. Like you rightly said, nowhere in the country is there any data, any significant statistical data to show that people of a particular community are being forced to get married against their will. And if they get married, if there's anyone being forced, all you have to do is walk down to the police station, register an FIR, and have action taken against that person. There's no instance. There are no instances in this country of anyone on a significant scale, maybe a few years, a significant scale, of people being forced to get married against their will.
You kept emphasizing marriage. The instances being cited by the Karnataka government, of course, involve what they call forcible conversion. However, the data, you're right, doesn't suggest any sudden rise in the number of Christians in Karnataka, Mohandas Pai. Let's be very clear. There is no evidence. No, statistical. You're a data person. Where is the data?
I'll give you data.
You must show me
give you
data to show that the number of Christians have risen substantially.
Rajdeep, you heard of John Dayal, who has come on your shows many times. John Dayal wrote an article some years back where he said Thomas Christians are now around 7.5 crores. As per the 2011 census, Christians are 2.8 crores. There's a large quantum of illegal conversion going on all across the country. Go to Andhra Pradesh, you'll see it. Go to Tamil Nadu, you'll see it. Go to North Karnataka, you see it. My own family, Radhe, my own family, 1 degree separated. They came to visit them in the hospital. They said they will pray. Then they said you have to convert because you're going to die. You will not go to hell. You'll go to hell if you don't convert. They offered to pay the medical bills for my relative. Then they came to my relative's house and said, come and meet the pastor. When they came to the house, they invited them, gave them tea and coffee. Then they came to the pastor. It is not the Catholic Church that is doing it, Radhip. Don't get carried away. I studied in the Justice Institution. The Catholics are not doing it. The New Age pastors are doing it. And they're targeting the Catholics too for conversion. My friends have told me the Catholics are getting converted. It's a huge racket, a lot of money is coming in. And Radhip, let me finish, please.
Yes.
There's something called the Joshua Project. Please have a look at it. There are videos on YouTube of conversion. There are videos of pastors doing that. There's a lot of literature. Don't put your head in the sand. And
I'm not putting my head in the sand. I am not going by my head in the sand. I am again going by data. Latest,
I'm going by data.
Sir, numbers do not suggest. Numbers do not suggest in India from 20. Just a minute, sir. Sir, you've given an anecdote. You've given, sir. Just a minute, sir. Sir, just a minute. You're from a Jesuit institute. I'm from a Jesuit institute. Just a minute.
Jesuits don't do it.
You said population. You gave me an anecdote. Mr. Pai, you gave me an anecdote. I am giving you hard numbers.
Catholic Church doesn't do it. I'm telling you. The Catholic is the New Age pastors. Money is coming from the US. Look at the FCNRA money coming in for the last 10 years, where it goes. Look at the US senators being forced by the evangelicals to talk to the Indian government about conversion. See all the data. And why are people not converting? Because they lose the SC, ST, they lose the reservation.
Sir.
Colin lost because he knows about it. He sees it all the time. The Catholics themselves are getting attacked. This is a real problem. Go to North Karnataka, go visit villages and have a look. You'll see the conversion racket that's going on. It's a money-making exercise. Go to Andhra Pradesh.
Let me just say, the Catholic population estimated 2021 is 3.12 crores, so there's no significant jump in terms of proportion.
Catholic population, Christian population.
Christian population.
I am sure you
this
know
is
the
the Christian
between the various faiths.
Okay, 1 minute, sir. Let me take it to Father Machado. You're claiming, just a minute, sir. Father Machado, Mohandas Pai says that it is, it's unfair to say that there have not been these conversions. Remember, it's not just Mr. Pai, but one BJP MLA in Karnataka has said that 15,000 to 20,000 people forcefully converted in Chitradurga. Are you saying there have been no forceful conversions, Father Machado, Reverend Machado?
As far as I know, there have not been forceful conversions or fraudulent conversions. And this particular MLA who repeatedly said that his mother was converted along with 15,000 people of his village, and the government ordered an inquiry, the Tahsildar made an inquiry, and ultimately the Tahsildar himself gave up the inquiry because he said there were only 45 converts of the Christian who became Christians, but with no force, out of their own free will. They were not even ready to go back. And they also said that they were more happy than before as they live in this religion of Christianity.
How does one, though, decide this concept under the law, Colin Gonzalez, of what constitutes a forcible conversion? The implication of what Mr. Pai seems to be suggesting is that there are those who will try and give allurements. Do you believe allurements are illegal?
Rajdeep, it's very simple. Forcible conversions, the use of force on a person would inevitably result in the data of registered FIRs. Now, there's not a single piece of data, maybe one here, one there, but there's no data anywhere in the country of anyone except perhaps some sections of this majority community that is campaigning today and doing all this violence. Apart from them, doing certain degree of forced conversions, there's no data anywhere in the country. In Kandamal, we looked at it very closely. The Christians were chased out of their villages. And to come back to their villages, there was the Ghar Vapasi program. So they had to go, they had to again shave their head, they had to drink cow urine, and then they were allowed to stay in their villages. Forced conversions is something which this religious fanatic groups know a lot about, but not about Christians converting. They know how,
Rajdeep,
when they use force and violence, how they can get communities who have converted voluntarily to come back again.
I will press you, Colin. How do you decide that a particular conversion is voluntary or not? Who decides that in your, as per the law?
Well, you have to ask the person concerned. Suppose a person concerned is not making a claim, and that's the situation today. People are not complaining about any conversions. Who's complaining? But it's just that the groups are so active and keeping an eye on the minority sections. It's they who make the allegation. But there's no victim, a person who is actually hurt, a person who's actually been coerced, coming forward and saying, listen, it happened to me. I was forcibly conversed. That would result in an FIR. That would show up in the statistic of crimes. But it doesn't exist in the country at all.
Let me take that to Mohandas Pai, because Mohandas Pai, that's the critical question. The Constitution guarantees me the right to the freedom to practice my religion. If I'm an SC/ST, I want to move out of Hinduism, as the great Baba Sahib Ambedkar moved out of Hinduism, became a neo-Buddhist. Who is Mohandas Pai or Captain Karnik or Mr. Basavram Bomai to decide, no, you can't convert? Allow people to have the intelligence to take these decisions.
Rajdeep, you know the problem of Dalit Christian. Can a Christian be a Dalit? Can there be a Dalit Christian? Can there be separate churches, separate Baliyarayas? It is all there in Christianity. Please look at data. And then why is John Dayal and others, campaigning to get Dalit Christians, the rise of SC/ST? Why are they doing it? Because illegally they're enjoying the rights. They should not get the rights. And as for all these statements, Rajdeep, I'm sure you know, use of money, coercion, undue influence is force. I'm sure Colin as the lawyer knows all this. Allurement. 3 housemates in my house told us they converted Christianity because schools promised to admit the children. And they said, you won't have converted. Then they came to our house and said, I will not be in the house where there's puja. I will not eat your food. This hatred is being spread. They're getting allurement. Allurements are being done. Getting allurements is illegal. If Colin wants to hide his head in the sand, that is too bad.
No.
You can look at John Dayal. John Dayal is more honest.
Sir, you've said John Dayal name 4 times. John Dayal does not...
He wrote that article.
Sir,
you can go and search and see how much money is coming in. You can see what is happening. Sir. And if the law is illegal and unconstitutional, Colin will go to court. Let the Supreme Court decide. Why is everybody getting worked up and said unconstitutional? What is unconstitutional can be decided by the Supreme Court. Let the court decide. It doesn't matter what Colin thinks or I think or you think about constitutionality. The court has to decide. Let it go. All states are passing it because there is a problem.
Colin, you want to respond again?
Problem in the sand. That's too bad.
Of course.
Mr. Rajdeep.
Yes.
Yes.
1
He's
minute,
ranting and raving. But where are his cases of people who've been forcibly converted to Christianity? They don't exist. You are attacking churches, you are excluding people, you're burning their villages, you're throwing them out. But where are the cases of people coming forward and saying genuinely, listen, I've been forced to convert? He's ranting and raving all over the place, he argued. But he can't get to the point. Where are the cases of people who have complained to the police?
No, let's not use...
been forcibly
Shut up, Colin.
No, come on, Mohandas Pai. I don't think going to Jesuit schools we learn words like shut up. No. He's attacked. No, 1 minute.
It's just a political hate program.
It's
a political program of the party in power.
Raving and ranting, we're having a debate. There is a problem. It doesn't recognize
to get votes. That's all.
No. Let's try and deal with the mature. Let's be honest. There are people out there who are watching this program who will say, look, here are 2 very senior individuals, both presumably from Jesuit institutions. The last thing we learnt in Jesuit institutions is to say shut up or abuse each other. I want to come one last time to Reverend Machado, because the irony is the Christian community has been known over the years for great service. Across this country, the number of schools that you've set, when you are hearing debates like this today
Rajdeep,
over
Mr.
conversion,
Rajdeep.
do you, just a minute, sir, do you feel a little let down, Reverend Machado, that after all the service that has been done, today the Christian community finds itself on the back foot, being demonized in a way?
Very much, sir, very much. And I feel betrayed by the government, and it's as good as they were giving us a punishment for doing good. Not only the schools, hospitals, so many orphanages, we are running the leprosy homes, we are running the HIV homes, the blind, the deaf, and all this seems to be something that we have done wrong. It's an offense that we have done, and the government is making it a big bogey of this anti-conversion, not only insulting us, but hurting us very badly.
Let me just take that then to you, Captain Karnik. You've been dying to come in. Don't you think that what is happening is the entire nature of this debate in some way damages Karnataka's reputation as well, Karnataka's image?
Not at all. Not at all. You asked a question, why Mr. Mohandas Pai, why Mr. Karnik? I won't ask a question. Why Mr. Machado should go and convert a SC? Why should he go and propagate his this thing? He has got every right to practice his faith. Why should he go and induce? This is number one. Number two, Mr. Machado or Mr. Colin must have forgotten how people got converted in Goa a few decades ago. How our Christian brothers in Goa, how they converted the local people there, and how they ran away from Goa to coastal part of Karnataka. They've forgotten. Now they are talking of Seva.
Sir.
Mr. Machado talks of Seva. This is the service we have been doing. Service in the disguise of conversion.
Okay.
He says he is hurt. We are hurt, sir.
Okay. You say you're hurt. You're going back now to what has happened hundreds of years ago. We can debate that on another day. Okay. We want to go back in time. I wanted to look ahead. I want to look at the service that communities have done. I hope that Karnataka, one of my favorite states, is able to reconcile, harmonize rather than divide. And politicians, I'm afraid, often end up dividing with which issues like anti-conversion bill. There is enough in present legislation in the Indian Penal Code to act if necessary. Mohandas Pai, you have every right to disagree, and that's your viewpoint, which I respect. And in that spirit,
Rajdeep, the Catholic Church is not doing it. Missing the point. The Catholic Church is not doing it. Archbishop Machado is not doing it. The Jesuits are not doing it. It's the New Age evangelicals, the pastors are doing it. These are new churches from America and Europe who are coming in. They're converting the Catholics too.
I want to see data. I want to see more than what you're saying. I hope that we can get data in the end. I await that data. I hope that the next census...
I don't understand why they are worried. I don't understand why they are worried if they're not doing it.
Okay, let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Mohandas Pai, Mr. Captain Karnik, Colin Gonzalez and Reverend Machado, I appreciate your joining us here on our big talking point tonight.